These are the 7 levels of zombie weapons. Level 1, trash weapons. Your bare fists are the baseline. When you've got absolutely nothing and a zombie lunges, your fists are what's left. The Walking Dead shows survivors using improvised melee like punches in desperate situations, though it's risky and not specifically shown with Rick, proving that desperation makes people try anything. The Walking Dead has scenes of survivors using fists during surprise attacks in tight spaces. The problem is obvious. Fists do almost nothing. You're hitting dead flesh that doesn't feel pain, trying to damage a skull designed to protect the brain. Unless you're a trained fighter landing perfect strikes on temples or eye sockets, you're just making the zombie angrier. The math is brutal. A human punch generates up to 776 pounds of force if you're an elite boxer. A human skull needs around 517 pounds of force to fracture. Metacarpal fractures happen fast when you're punching hard surfaces. Now you're injured and unarmed. The worst combination possible. Dead Rising shows this perfectly when players try melee combat without weapons and get grabbed immediately because the hit stun is pathetically short. Sticks and branches are barely better. These are what you grab in forests or parks when running blind. The problem is wood breaks. Hit a skull wrong and the branch snaps, leaving you holding a useless stump. Even thick branches lack the mass to deliver killing blows. You're annoying the zombie, not stopping it. Rocks and bricks appear everywhere in zombie media. World War Z shows military defenses during the Jerusalem wall scenes, while other media like Dawn of the Dead features improvised items. Dawn of the Dead has survivors using propane tanks as improvised explosives. The advantage is density. A heavy rock to the temple can crack a skull if you connect right. The disadvantage is accuracy. Throwing requires distance and aim, both of which fail under pressure. Miss and you've just lost your weapon. Hit center mass and you've accomplished nothing because body shots don't stop zombies. Steel pipes are the best of level 1, but that's like being the smartest kid on the short bus. In 28 Days Later, Jim uses a plastic bag filled with cans for early defense, swinging it like a club when infected charge. World War Z shows crowds using various improvised items during outbreak starts. They're everywhere in construction sites and broken buildings, heavy enough to crack skulls if you swing hard, long enough to keep some distance. But pipes are hollow and unbalanced. The weight distribution makes every swing awkward. After 10 hits, your arms are screaming. After 50, you're barely lifting it. The durability is random. Some bend on first impact. Others last longer but still warp after enough abuse. The unifying factor of level 1 is desperation. These weapons say you had no time to prepare, no chance to scavenge properly. You grabbed whatever was closest and now you're gambling that it holds together long enough to escape. Survival time with level 1 weapons is measured in minutes, not hours. You're not fighting through hordes. You're barely surviving individual encounters while running for something better. Level 2, basic weapons. Kitchen knives are the first real weapons most people find. Every home has them. Every restaurant, every convenience store. Shaun of the Dead shows the crew grabbing kitchen knives during their desperate pub defense. The advantage is lethality. A sharp blade penetrating a zombie's eye socket or temple can kill instantly if you know anatomy. Resident Evil features knife combat in tight corridors. Alice using precise stabs to drop zombies quietly. The problem is reach and technique. Knives force you within grabbing distance. You need accuracy under pressure. And one missed stab means zombie hands are on you. Blades also stick. Bury a knife in a skull and you're pulling hard to extract it while other zombies approach. The Zombie Survival Guide warns against blades for this exact reason. You're trading single target killing power for vulnerability in groups. Plus, knives dull fast against bone. After 20 kills, the edge is ruined, turning your weapon into a barely effective poker. Baseball bats become default choices for survivors who find them. The Walking Dead made Negan's barbed wire bat iconic, but regular bats appear constantly across zombie media. Shaun of the Dead shows survivors using cricket bats, the British equivalent, during escape sequences. Zombieland features Columbus using bats in early scenes before upgrading. The advantage is blunt force without the sticking problem. You swing, you hit, the bat rebounds, you're ready again. Bats also have decent reach, keeping zombie teeth 18 inches farther away. But wood cracks. Land a solid skull hit at the wrong angle and the bat splits lengthwise. Even aluminum bats dent and deform after extended use. The weight distribution is better than pipes, but still imperfect. You're swinging harder than necessary because the mass is spread along the length instead of concentrated at impact point. Dead Rising shows bat durability dropping fast, players watching their weapon degrade with each hit. Hammers and small hand tools step up the game. Now you've got intentional weapon design working for you. Claw hammers, framing hammers, small sledges. These deliver concentrated force. Train to Busan shows improvised bat and fist combat in desperate train car fights. The compact size means belt carry without interference. The metal construction means durability beyond wood. A good hammer strike caves skulls in one hit if you aim right. Crowbars and pry bars enter at this level as utility weapons. Shaun of the Dead features them for breaking into buildings. Dawn of the Dead shows survivors using them for barricading and close combat. The advantage is leverage. You're not just hitting zombies, you're forcing open doors and accessing supplies. The hook catches limbs, letting you control zombie movement, but they're still one-handed tools without extreme stopping power. You're effective against individuals, but struggle against groups. Machetes and long blades offer reach that knives lack. The Walking Dead makes machetes signature weapons for several characters. 28 weeks later shows military personnel using machetes for silent kills. The chopping motion delivers more force than stabbing, and the blade length keeps zombies at better distance. But the sticking problem amplifies. Machete blades embed in bone, requiring significant strength to extract. The edge maintenance becomes critical. Dull machetes are just heavy clubs that pretend to be swords. Level 2 represents having time to grab proper weapons. You raided a sporting goods store or a hardware section. You've got tools designed to hurt things, but you're still limited by reach, durability, and the fundamental problem that melee combat means close contact. Survival time jumps to hours, maybe a full day if you're skilled and lucky. You're handling small groups, but avoiding hordes because Level 2 can't sustain extended combat. Level 3, mid-weapons. Compound bows change the equation by adding range. Now you're killing zombies from 20, 30, even 50 yards away. The Walking Dead makes Daryl's crossbow iconic, showing how silent ranged weapons let you thin hordes before they reach you. I Am Legend features Robert Neville using firearms during city hunts. The advantage is stealth. No gunshot to alert every zombie in hearing range. Just a quiet snap, and a zombie drops with an arrow through its skull. Bows require arrows though, and arrows are finite. You can retrieve some from kills, but shafts break, broadheads dull, and every shot risks losing ammunition you can't replace. The draw weight demands arm strength. After 20 shots, your muscles fatigue, accuracy drops, and you're missing targets that are getting closer. Plus, bows are useless in close quarters. A zombie rushes you and that bow becomes a clumsy club while you scramble for a sidearm. Crossbows solve some of these problems. Less strength requirement, faster target acquisition, better accuracy. Army of the Dead features crossbow use during stealth approaches. Walking Dead emphasizes crossbows as smart survivor weapons. The bolts are easier to make than arrows, and the mechanical advantage means consistent power without fatigue. But crossbows are slower to reload than bows. One shot, then you're cycling while zombies advance. The bulk makes them awkward to carry with other gear. Spears and polearms add reach to melee combat. Suddenly you've got 6 to 8 feet between you and zombie teeth. Zombieland features pool cues and similar improvised polearms. The advantage is obvious. You're stabbing heads from outside grab range using leverage to control multiple zombies. The spear point focuses all your strength into a small area, punching through skulls easier than blunt weapons. The problem is durability and control. Spear shafts break when zombies grab them and pull. The point dulls after repeated bone strikes, and spears are terrible in confined spaces. Try using a 6-foot pole in a hallway or room and you're hitting walls, ceilings, furniture. The weapon that gave you range outside becomes a liability inside. Plus, retrieving an embedded spear from a zombie skull while others approach is its own nightmare. Shotguns enter at level 3 as the first firearms that make sense. We're talking pump-action 12 gauges, the kind found in homes and police cars everywhere. Dawn of the Dead features shotguns heavily during mall defense. 28 days later shows military using assault rifles for close-range infected clearing. The stopping power is immense. A shotgun blast to a zombie head is total destruction. The spread pattern means you don't need perfect aim. Point in the general direction and pellets find the target. But shotguns are loud. Every shot announces your location to every zombie within half a mile. The recoil is punishing, making rapid follow-up shots difficult. The ammunition is heavy and bulky. You're carrying maybe 20 shells comfortably, and 12-gauge buckshot isn't light. Reload speed is slow compared to magazine-fed weapons. You're thumbing shells one at a time while zombies shamble closer. The effective range is limited to 30 yards before spread makes it ineffective. Level 3 is where survivors transition from desperate to tactical. You've got weapons that let you engage at range or control space at distance. The ammunition dependency becomes real though. Arrows and shells run out and resupply means scavenging or crafting, both time intensive. You're managing resources now, not just swinging until your weapon breaks. Survival time extends to days or a week. You can clear buildings, defend positions, and move through moderately infested areas, but you're still avoiding major concentrations because level 3 can't sustain the ammunition consumption heavy combat demands. Level 4. OK weapons. AR-15 platform rifles represent the standard military solution. These are the weapons armies use against zombies in movies because they work. World War Z shows military personnel using M4 carbines during outbreak response. 28 weeks later features British forces with L-85 rifles clearing infected zones. The advantage is magazine capacity and rate of fire. 30 rounds of 5.596mm ammunition that cycles as fast as you can pull the trigger. You're dropping zombies efficiently at ranges from 5 to 300 yards. The modularity matters. AR-15s accept different optics, lights, grips, and accessories. You're customizing for your situation. Red dot sights for close quarters, magnified scopes for distance, weapon lights for night operations. The recoil is manageable, letting you stay on target through multiple shots. The reliability is proven through decades of military use. Resident Evil films feature tactical teams with AR variants, showing how professional operators choose these weapons. But 5.56mm ammunition dependency is the killer. You're burning through 30-round magazines fast, and resupply requires finding military or police caches. The noise is only marginally better than shotguns. Every burst alerts zombies to your position. Suppressors help, but add weight and length while reducing some muzzle velocity. The mechanical complexity means more potential failure points. Jams happen, and clearing malfunctions under pressure while zombies approach is when people die. 9mm pistols become essential sidearms at this level. Glock 17s, Beretta 92s, SIG P226X. These appear everywhere in zombie media because they're everywhere in reality. The Walking Dead shows Rick's Python revolver, but most survivors carry semi-auto pistols. I Am Legend has Neville using rifles for infected dogs. The magazine capacity gives you 15 to 17 rounds. The size means you're carrying it always, even when using primary weapons. One-handed operation leaves a hand free for doors, climbing, or holding supplies. Pistol advantages are mobility and availability. Every gun store, police station, and military base has them. Ammunition is common, relatively light, and you can carry hundreds of rounds. The learning curve is gentle, point-and-shoot fundamentals that even untrained survivors grasp quickly, but pistols lack stopping power compared to rifles or shotguns. Headshots are mandatory, and hitting moving zombie heads with a pistol requires practice most people don't have. The effective range is short, maybe 25 yards for accurate fire under stress. Beyond that, you're wasting ammunition. The noise is still significant, though less than rifles. Suppressors are more practical on pistols due to size, but finding them requires raiding specialized locations. The two-handed stability needed for accuracy means you're not really fighting one-handed despite the design. Molotov cocktails and improvised incendiaries add area denial. These appear constantly across zombie media as desperate weapons. 28 Days Later shows survivors using fire against infected hordes. Zombieland features creative explosive use. The advantage is creating walls of fire that zombies walk into because they're too stupid to avoid. One bottle can stop a dozen zombies buying escape time. Fire weapons are double-edged though. Burning zombies keep moving until the fire destroys their brain or mobility. You're creating flaming zombies that spread fire to buildings and vegetation. In confined spaces, you're trapping yourself with smoke and flames. The creation requires time and materials. Gasoline, oil, alcohol, rags, bottles. You're crafting weapons instead of finding them, and one mistake means you're on fire. Level 4 represents proper armament. You've got military-grade weapons that make zombie killing efficient at range. The ammunition logistics become your primary concern. You're rationing shots, seeking resupply constantly, and calculating whether engaging is worth the resource cost. Survival time extends to weeks. You can clear neighborhoods, defend compounds, and operate in heavily infested urban areas. But you're still resource limited. Run out of ammunition, and you're back to level 2 weapons while surrounded by bodies. Level 5, legendary weapons. Compound bows at this level mean high-end hunting equipment with modern materials. Carbon fiber limbs, precision cam systems, high draw weights up to 80 pounds. These aren't the basic bows from level 3. We're talking weapons that punch arrows through zombie skulls at 70 yards with perfect accuracy. The Walking Dead shows consistent use of crossbows like Daryl's as survivors improve gear. The advantage is sustainability. Arrows are retrievable and craftable with basic tools. You're not dependent on gunpowder and primers. The silence remains absolute, letting you operate without attracting attention. The power at full draw can penetrate multiple zombie skulls if they line up. Broadhead arrows deliver devastating trauma, and expanding heads increase brain destruction. You're killing efficiently at range while conserving ammunition, but bows still require extensive practice. Accurate shooting under pressure with a hunting bow is a skill that takes months to develop. The rate of fire is slow compared to firearms. You're getting maybe one arrow every 5 seconds if you're fast. Against a horde, mathematics beats you. Plus, weather affects performance. Rain, wind, cold all degrade accuracy. The mechanical complexity means maintenance and potential failures. Crossbows at legendary tier include modern compound crossbows with cranking mechanisms. These generate 200 pounds of draw weight without the strength requirement. Accuracy becomes mechanical. Scopes provide precise aiming, and bolts fly faster than arrows. Army of the Dead features advanced crossbows during quiet operations. The reliability increases because you're not depending on consistent human strength. Semi-automatic shotguns fix the reload problem from level 3. Benelli M4s, Remington 1100s, these cycle automatically and accept magazine extensions. Now you've got 8 or 10 shells of 12-gauge devastation firing as fast as you can pull the trigger. World War Z features military firearms during base defense. The stopping power remains absolute while the rate of fire increases dramatically. You're dropping zombies at close range faster than they can advance. The ammunition weight remains problematic though. 100 rounds of shotgun shells is heavy enough to slow you down significantly. The range is still limited, and the noise means you're announcing yourself with every shot, but auto shotguns excel at defending choke points and doorways. Line up zombies in a hallway, and you're erasing them with buckshot as fast as they appear. Suppressed firearms change operations completely. We're talking actual suppressors on subsonic ammunition, not the Hollywood silencers. A suppressed 9mm pistol with subsonic rounds produces about 120 decibels, roughly as loud as a jackhammer. Still noticeable, but not the gunshot crack that carries for miles. Suppressed rifles using subsonic 300 blackout or similar get you down to hearing-safe levels. Now you're killing zombies with gunfire that doesn't immediately alert everything nearby. The tactical advantage is immense. You can clear buildings room by room without every shot calling reinforcements. You can engage at range without broadcasting your position. Military and special operations forces in zombie media use suppressed weapons because they're the only firearms that make strategic sense. But suppressors add weight and length. The subsonic ammunition requirement reduces velocity and stopping power. You're trading raw killing ability for stealth, which is often worth it, but not always. Battle rifles enter at legendary tier, offering power that intermediate cartridges lack. We're talking .308 Winchester 7.622 51mm NATO, weapons that deliver devastating energy at range. Springfield M1As, FN SCARs, AR-10s, these punch through zombie skulls at distances where pistol calibers are ineffective. World War Z shows military snipers using battle rifles for long-range infected clearing. The semi-auto capability maintains rate of fire while the power ensures kills. The weight is significant though. Battle rifles are heavy, ammunition is heavy, and recoil is punishing during rapid fire. You're sacrificing mobility for power. The loudness is extreme, worse than AR-15s. And finding ammunition is harder because .308 is less common than 5.56mm or 9mm. But when you need to drop zombies at 200 yards while they're still distant enough that noise doesn't matter, battle rifles are the answer. Level 5 represents reaching legendary status as a survivor. You've got weapons that make you effective at all ranges. You've optimized for either stealth or power depending on situation, and you've developed the skills to use advanced systems. Survival time extends to months. You're operating freely in infested zones, clearing areas methodically, and only avoiding the most extreme concentrations. The resource management remains critical, but you've established supply chains through scavenging and potentially crafting. You're not just surviving anymore, you're thriving in the apocalypse. Level 6. Apex Weapons. Pump shotguns at this level means military-grade combat shotguns with door-breaching capability. Remington 870 with extended magazine, Mossberg 590-01, weapons designed for close-quarters hell. The Walking Dead shows evolution to tactical shotguns as survivors get experienced. These aren't hunting weapons anymore. They're zombie skull erasers. The pump action means incredible reliability. These weapons function in conditions that jam semi-autos, cycling through mud, blood, and gore without failing. The versatility is what makes them Apex. Load buckshot for close combat devastation. Switch to slugs for single target power at 50 yards. Use breaching rounds to blow door locks off. You're carrying one weapon that handles multiple scenarios. The intimidation factor matters in encounters with hostile survivors too. The sound of a shotgun cycling is universally understood as a threat, but we're also talking about select fire assault rifles at Apex. M16A4s with burst mode, actual military spec weapons that let you dump 3 rounds per trigger pull. World War Z military scenes feature full auto-capable rifles during massed zombie engagements. The burst fire balances ammunition conservation with increased hit probability. You're putting multiple rounds center mass faster than semi-auto while not wasting ammo like full auto. The problem is control. Burst fire climbs off target as recoil accumulates. You need training to manage it effectively. The mechanical complexity increases with select fire capability. More parts means more maintenance and potential failures. And finding actual select fire weapons requires raiding military bases or National Guard armories, locations that are either cleared out or defended. Light machine guns enter as sustained fire solutions. M249 saws. M240 Bravos, belt-fed weapons that deliver continuous fire for extended periods. Army of the Dead features military machine gun nests during Vegas defense. The psychological impact of a light machine gun opening up on a horde is significant. Zombies don't take cover, so you're creating lanes of destruction through massed groups. The belt-fed capability means 200 rounds before reloading. You're sustaining fire that rifles can't match. The bipod lets you set up stable firing positions. The rate of fire, around 600-800 rounds per minute, erases approaching zombies faster than they can close distance. But light machine guns are heavy. The M249 weighs 17 pounds empty. Add ammunition, and you're hauling 30 pounds. The ammunition consumption is extreme. You're burning through hundreds of rounds in minutes. The mobility sacrifice means light machine guns are defensive weapons. You set up positions and hold them. Moving with one is possible, but slow. The bulk means you're dedicating to this weapon system, carrying a sidearm for everything else. Resupplying is challenging because belted 5.56mm ammunition is less common than magazines. But for defending compounds, protecting evacuation routes, or holding choke points against hordes, light machine guns are unmatched. Explosives become practical at Apex tier. Hand grenades, claymores, C4. Actual military ordnance that creates catastrophic damage. 28 weeks later shows military using explosives during containment failures. World War Z features explosive use against pyramid-climbing zombies. One grenade into a packed group of zombies can kill dozens through blast and fragmentation. The area denial capability is strategic. Set up claymore mines around your compound perimeter and approaching zombies trigger their own destruction. Use tripwires to create explosive barriers. Place C4 charges on structural supports and collapse buildings onto hordes. You're thinking beyond individual kills to reshaping the battlefield. But explosives are dangerous to store and transport. Accidental detonation kills you just as dead as zombies. The blast radius doesn't discriminate. Use explosives in the wrong location and you're bringing structures down on yourself. The limited supply means every explosive used is one less for future emergencies. And obtaining military-grade explosives requires serious raiding operations into heavily defended or completely overrun military installations. Sniper rifles give you ultra-long-range precision. We're talking 308 or 300 Win mag bolt actions with high magnification scopes. The Walking Dead never quite shows proper sniping, but military zombie scenarios include sniper support. From 500 yards, you're eliminating special infected before they reach defensive lines. From elevated positions, you're controlling approaches to safe zones. The one-shot, one-kill capability conserves ammunition when you have good sightlines. The bolt action forces disciplined shooting, making every round count. The accuracy ensures headshots at distances where other weapons spray bullets, hoping for hits. But bolt actions are slow. You're cycling between shots manually. In close combat, they're nearly useless. The scopes require zero adjustment for different ranges, and misreading distance means missing entirely. Level 6 represents becoming Apex Predator. You've got weapons that make organized zombie clearing realistic. The resource requirements are significant, but you're operating from established bases with supply stockpiles. Survival isn't the question anymore. Reclamation is. You're taking back territory, establishing safe zones, and protecting survivor communities. The weapons you carry make you the difference between a compound surviving and being overrun. Level 7. God-tier weapons. Flamethrowers are the answer when you're done with conservation and ready for annihilation. Military flamethrowers project burning fuel 40 meters, creating walls of fire that incinerate everything. The psychological impact is immediate. Zombies walk into flames and burn while continuing to approach until motor function fails. The Walking Dead never shows proper military flamethrowers, but the implication exists in fire-clearing operations. The advantage is area coverage. One fuel tank can immolate hundreds of zombies as they cluster together. Fire spreads through hordes, zombie to zombie, creating chain reactions. Choke points become kill zones. Doorways, bridges, alleys, anywhere zombies bunch up can be turned into crematoriums. The fuel adheres to targets, burning through flesh down to bone. The drawbacks are significant. Flamethrowers are heavy, bulky, and terrifying to carry. You're wearing a fuel tank that explodes if punctured. The range, while better than movies show, is still shorter than firearms. You're letting zombies get close before engaging. The fuel consumption is extreme. A military flamethrower carries about 10 seconds of continuous fire time. After that, you're holding an expensive club while zombies burn. Environmental concerns multiply. Use a flamethrower in a city and you're starting fires that spread beyond control. Use one in a forest, and you've created a wildfire. Enclosed spaces fill with smoke and heat that kill you before zombies do. The weapon that makes you unstoppable outside becomes a suicide tool inside. But for clearing open areas, for defending against thousands of zombies approaching across fields, flamethrowers are god-tier solutions. Grenade launchers add explosive capability at range. M203s mounted under rifles. Standalone M32 revolvers, weapons that lob 40mm grenades into groups of zombies. Army of the Dead implies explosive use during Vegas operations. Each grenade kills everything in a 5-meter radius through blast and fragmentation. Against packed hordes, you're erasing dozens per shot. The versatility includes different grenade types: high explosive for maximum killing, incendiary for burning zombies, smoke for covering retreats, illumination for night operations. You're carrying solutions to multiple problems in one weapon system. The range extends to 400 meters, letting you engage distant concentrations. The arc trajectory means you can hit behind cover or over obstacles, but grenades are bulky and heavy. You're carrying maybe a dozen before weight becomes prohibitive. Each shot costs you an explosive you can't replace. The minimum arming distance means close targets can't be engaged. Fire too close, and the grenade bounces off zombies and back at you. The blast danger to yourself is real if you miscalculate. And finding 40mm grenades requires military base raids into the most dangerous locations. Miniguns represent the ultimate in sustained fire. M134s spinning 6 barrels, firing 2,000 to 6,000 rounds per minute, erasing everything downrange. Army of the Dead implies heavy machine guns during defense operations. The firepower is incomprehensible. You're creating a stream of bullets that saws through zombie hordes like wheat. Nothing survives in the cone of fire. Hundreds of zombies die in seconds. The mounted version requires vehicles or fixed positions. You're setting up defensive emplacements that no number of zombies can cross. The ammunition feed from belts or hoppers means sustained fire that doesn't stop until you run out of ammunition. The psychological effect is absolute. Any zombies that had remaining survival instinct would flee. Since they don't, they simply walk into the meat grinder. The weapon weight without mount is 85 pounds. The ammunition consumption is catastrophic. A minigun fires through thousands of rounds per minute. You need logistics support to feed it. The system requires electrical or mechanical power to spin the barrels. You're not carrying this as a personal weapon. It's a crew-served system, but mounted on vehicles or base defenses, miniguns create kill zones that no horde can overcome. Suppressed high-caliber rifles give you the stealth power combination that defines God-tier status. A suppressed 300 Blackout SBR with subsonic ammunition delivers one-shot kills at close range with minimal noise. A suppressed 308 bolt action lets you eliminate targets at distance without revealing position. You're combining legendary tier suppression with apex tier stopping power. The tactical applications are limitless. Clear buildings silently, eliminate roaming zombies without alerting others, protect communities without drawing hordes. Every kill is quiet enough that nearby zombies might not notice. You're operating with impunity because the primary zombie sense, hearing, doesn't register your attacks. The ammunition selection matters. Subsonic rounds sacrifice velocity for silence, but at intended ranges, the power is sufficient. The cost is weapon and ammunition rarity. High-end suppressors that actually achieve hearing-safe levels are uncommon. Subsonic ammunition is specialized and less available than standard loads. The mechanical complexity means these weapons need maintenance and care, but the capability to clear threats silently while using powerful cartridges makes suppressed high-caliber rifles the thinking survivor's god-tier choice. Experimental weapons enter the conversation at this tier. Microwave pain rays that could disable zombies by boiling their remaining fluids. Sonic weapons that disrupt motor function. Directed energy weapons that burn through flesh. None of these exist in practical portable forms yet, but the theory exists. Advanced zombie scenarios in fiction sometimes include prototype weapons that turn survivors into walking death. The reality is, God-tier weapons make you unstoppable within their operating parameters. You're clearing city blocks, defending against thousands of zombies, and reclaiming territory that was written off. The resource requirements are massive. You need established supply lines, ammunition stockpiles, and support teams. These aren't lone survivor weapons. They're what organized survivor communities use when transitioning from surviving to rebuilding. The strategic implications matter. With God-tier weapons, you're not avoiding zombies anymore. You're hunting them. You're conducting offensive operations to clear regions. You're protecting survivor populations large enough to maintain civilization. The weapons become tools of restoration, killing zombies fast enough that areas can be secured, cleared, and re-inhabited. But here's the thing about God-tier weapons. They require God-tier situations. If you're alone, on foot, carrying a minigun, and 3,000 rounds, you're not surviving, you're committing suicide by weight. These weapons shine in organized scenarios where vehicles, teams, and bases support operations. The lone survivor with a suppressed rifle is more effective than the squad without ammunition for their minigun. Context determines tier effectiveness. In close quarters, level 2 melee weapons might outperform level 7 firearms. In open fields against hordes, only God-tier solutions work. The ranking represents maximum capability, not universal application. The best survivors know when to use what, carrying multiple tiers for different scenarios. So there's your hierarchy. 7 levels from bare fists fists that barely work to miniguns that erase hordes like they're not even there. Each step teaching survivors that weapons are tools matched to situations. Lower levels are about immediate survival with whatever exists. Middle levels are about choosing effective tools and managing resources. Upper levels are about having enough firepower that zombies become the endangered species instead of humans. The ranking exists because survival progresses through stages. First, you escape. Then, you survive day to day. Then, you establish security. Then, you clear areas. Then, you reclaim civilization. Each stage demands different weapons. The survivor who understands that, who matches weapon to situation instead of just grabbing the biggest gun, that's who lives long enough to see the zombie threat end. And the beautiful thing about 7 levels is the progression tells a story. The story of humanity refusing to die, upgrading from fists and sticks to military-grade hardware, learning and adapting until the zombies that almost wiped us out become targets we hunt for sport. That's the weapon tier system. That's how you measure survival. If you enjoyed this video and want to see why you wouldn't survive 28 Days Later's Rage Virus, click the video on the screen.